transport pod had crashed 3 kilometers from Oren's farm, carving a blackened scar across the amber fields. He'd seen the streak of fire across the evening sky, heard the thunder that shook his windows, and knew, as all humans who lived on frontier worlds knew, that trouble had arrived. By the time Oren reached the wreckage, the emergency beacon had already gone silent. The pod was Catharan design, all organic curves and bioluminescent panels now flickering weakly in the dusk. He approached cautiously, plasma rifle raised, boots crunching on scorched grain. Human. The voice was a rumble, like mountains grinding together. "I know you're there." Oren stepped around the pod's crumpled hull. What he saw made him freeze. The dragon was massive, even folded upon itself, scales the color of deep space, each one etched with symbols that seemed to shift in the fading light. Its wings, magnificent things that could have blotted out his sun, were shredded, leaking luminous blue blood onto the soil. But it was the creature's eyes that held him, ancient, intelligent, and filled with something Oren recognized despite never having seen it in a dragon before. Despair. "Just kill me," the dragon said, its massive head settling onto the ground with exhaustion. "You've won. Your species always wins. End it quickly." Oren lowered his rifle slightly. "I'm a farmer, not a soldier. All humans are soldiers." The dragon's laugh was bitter, sending small tremors through the earth. "Your entire species is a weapon that learned to walk upright. What happened to you?" "Does it matter?" The dragon's eye, each one larger than Oren's torso, fixed on him. "The collective sent me to negotiate with your colony, to warn you away from the disputed zones, but your defense grid didn't care about diplomatic credentials." Oren felt his jaw tighten. The colony's new AI defense system installed just last month. Overzealous, the council had been warned. He looked at the dragon's wounds, at the cauterized gashes along its flanks. "I have medical supplies. Not enough for this, but no." The dragon's voice was firm. "I won't give you the satisfaction. For 3,000 years, my people ruled the stars. We brought order, culture, civilization to 100 worlds. Then humans arrived, barely crawling out of your gravity well, and within 2 centuries you dismantled everything we built. That's not, isn't it?" The dragon shifted, wincing. "Every species we encountered, we elevated. We gave them art, philosophy, peace. You gave them weapons, rebellion, chaos. And somehow they chose you, every single time." Oren set down his rifle and approached, hands visible. The dragon watched him with wary confusion. "I'm going to move this debris from your wing," Oren said. "It's pinning you down." "Why?" "Because it's hurting you." He began pulling away twisted metal, his work gloves protecting him from the sharp edges. The dragon remained silent, but its breathing seemed to ease slightly as the pressure lifted. The Catharan Empire fell because it was stagnant. Oren said quietly, "Working. You brought peace, yes. But you also brought stagnation. No growth, no change, no room for anything that didn't fit your vision of perfection. And humans brought war. We brought choice." Oren moved to another section of debris. Messy, violent, chaotic choice. The right to be imperfect, to fail, to try again. Barbaric philosophy. Maybe. Oren pulled away the last major piece of wreckage. But it's ours, and apparently a lot of species prefer it to gilded cages. The dragon was quiet for a long moment. Then, "There's something in the pod. A cloth bundle. Bring it to me." Oren climbed carefully into the wreckage, found the bundle and brought it out. It was surprisingly light, wrapped in fabric that seemed to shimmer with its own inner light. "Open it," the dragon commanded. Oren unwrapped the cloth and staggered back in horror. Inside were eggs, 3 of them, each no larger than his fist, their shells translucent and pulsing with faint light. But they were cracked, leaking that same luminous blue fluid, their tiny occupants clearly visible within and clearly dying. "My younglings," the dragon whispered. "I was bringing them to the neutral zone for the hatching ceremony, a tradition older than your species' written language. Now look at them. Look at what your weapons have done." Oren felt his stomach turn. These weren't just eggs, they were children. He could see their tiny forms, could almost imagine he heard their faint cries. "Your medical supplies," the dragon said, its voice breaking. "You said you had them. Can they help?" Oren's mind raced. Human medical technology was advanced, adaptive, designed to work on the dozens of species that made up the frontier colonies. But dragon physiology, He'd need Lyra. My daughter, he said quickly. She's a xenobiologist. Top of her class at the academy before she came back to help with the farm. If anyone can save them, why would you help? The dragon's voice was raw. I am your enemy. My kind has tried to push your colonies back for decades. Orin looked at the dying eggs, then at the dragon, then back at his farm in the distance where Lyra would be finishing evening chores. Because those are children, he said simply. And on this farm we don't let children die. Not if there's any chance to save them. He activated his comm. Lyra, I need you to bring the xenomedical kit. All of it, and hurry. The dragon stared at him, something shifting in those ancient eyes. I don't understand your species. Good, Orin said, carefully rewrapping the eggs to preserve what warmth remained. If you understood us, we wouldn't be human. In the distance, he could see Lyra's hoverbike racing across the fields, medical kit strapped to her back. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of fire, and for the first time since the pod had crashed, the dragon's breathing sounded almost like hope.